Hey everyone, I am super excited that Amy Muranko-Gahan is joining us today. Now, Amy is an executive coach, international speaker, nonprofit leader, and founding director of Global Impact. Amy has received multiple commendations for her work in protecting children from human trafficking. Now, my wife and I have known Amy for more than a decade, and having deployed in multiple disaster relief operations with our charity, Clean Water International, we understand the reality of human trafficking. And so we are super honored that Amy and her passion to work with all these agencies to help battle anti-trafficking. You're amazing, Amy. That's all I can say.
Thank you.
Anyway, I asked Amy to speak at the summit because we've had many times to talk, and she has some special insight into relationship with self and getting into the best shape of your life. And so I wanted Amy to be part of the Transformation Summit to really tell us her story. And your topic is really good, relationship with self.
Good.
So Amy, tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay. Thanks, Daryl. First of all, let me just say thank you for having me in this Transformation Summit. I love what you're doing. I love the initiative and mission to really bring transformation to people, and that we can share our own stories to help somebody else transform in their life. It truly is a passion that I have to empower others. So thank you for the invite, and just love what you're doing. The relationship with self is a great topic, I think. Of course, I think it's great, and that's why I made even a course around it, because my thought is that we think about and know that we need to develop our relationship with other people, right? Like, our close family members and our friends, and we want to have good relationships, and we have the challenge of relationship with others, and we know about that, And yeah. I also hope that people develop a strong relationship with God, that they have that spiritual component and relationship, with Him. So those are two relationships that we talk about a lot. But one thing I find that most people don't really register or think about a whole lot or work on is how they relate to themselves. Right? And so what is a relationship? What is a relationship in general? A relationship is our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions toward someone or something, right? We could even have a relationship with an organization, with things around us. So this is the premise of relationship with self, is how do I think about myself? How do I feel about myself? How do I act toward myself? And a lot of times we find that we're not so nice to ourselves. We're harder on ourselves way down deep. And we're doing things and saying things and feeling about ourselves in ways that are not empowering us, but we don't know it because it's just our natural, normal mode of thinking, and we just don't even register it. It just feels normal. So that's why I want to help people kind of dig into it and say, what are the thoughts I'm thinking about myself? How do I feel? How am I acting? And is it empowering me or disempowering me? So that's the premise of one of the things I coach on it, and in particular this course, and what I want to share within this interview.
Right. So Amy, what brought you to that point where you realized that you needed to have a better relationship with yourself?
Yeah.
Was there like that moment that
I wouldn't say it was a moment. I would say it was progressive. And also I have my own coach that I'm working with, and through coaching and doing my own personal transformation, it's like step by step you realize, wow, this is actually one of the most important foundations we can have, because how I relate to myself then impacts every other relationship that I have. So I wouldn't say it was one like light bulb moment. It was more step by step, but that's what I want to help people have, is a light bulb moment, so it's like I went through a journey to get to this point, but I can hopefully share it in such a way that someone can go ding and they have quicker transformation.
Right. Well, that makes sense. I mean, everybody that's watching this, they're on a journey. We're all on a journey.
We are.
And obviously you're watching this because you want to see transformation in your life. And that's how it started with you, with self-discovery, saying, okay, I'm on this journey, I'm on this path, baby steps. And one step at a time, you began to realize that, hey, this is super important. And then you really started to dive into it a lot more and discover it, and discover yourself.
Yeah. Well, I think too, Daryl, I'm thinking for those that might be watching that love to study the Bible and also input that into their life, there's a lot of scriptures about how we think and about that we need to renew our mind so that we can have transformation. And so I've really found that, I've known that all my life I need to renew my mind, but the real practicality is of how. I feel like in this last season of my life, I've just up the ante, so to speak. And now I really have some very practical ways to figure out what I'm thinking and how to renew it, which applies to anybody. But I'm just mentioning this, that it actually even goes back to like the instructions that the Word of God gives us into how to live our best life, how to be in our best shape, so to speak, spiritually, right, physically, mentally. And really it comes down to the renewal of our mind and continual transformation. It's like how the Creator made us. And He gave us this ability to think better than we do now. We can keep growing in our thinking, which then impacts every area of our life. So it's really right, a topic I'm passionate about.
Right. So this all starts kind of with mindset as well.
Yeah. Well, for me, yes, because for me, with all the study and things that I'm, looking at, and you may have heard this, our viewers may have heard this, but I think this is really important to always emphasize, is that we have around 60,000 thoughts a day. I mean, it might not be that, it might be 50, it might be 40, it might be 80,000 thoughts in a day. And most of those are in our subconscious, in our programming, what we are automatically programmed for. Very few of that is in our conscious thinking. So, and that really comes, if we look at that in a very simple form, that comes way back from our formative years. We have programming, just like a computer or a laptop is programmed. That's why we have a personality. We usually kind of react the same way in similar situations, because we're programmed in such a way. That's why we have themes in our life and feelings that maybe come up, even especially negative ones that we can get triggered. And why? Because there's something down deeper. But a lot of times we haven't known how to get down into the deeper part of our programming. So if we have 60,000 thoughts going through our mind and, our mind and our heart every single day, we need to take some time to find out what it is we're actually thinking. Some of that's really working for us, helping us to progress, have success in life, good relationships. But guaranteed, we all have things that could be transformed to another and better level. And so I love to look at that. And to me, it really all comes down to that. And another teacher that I listen to quite a bit, and I think, from the studies, it's very interesting to know that really the majority of what I think today, I thought yesterday, and I thought the day before, and I thought the day before, and going back. So in other words, if we don't put intention to this, we're just going to keep, pretty much staying in that same path of thought, and how we think is producing our current day results. And so,
it's Groundhog Day for so many people.
Yeah. So it's really important that we learn practical skills and not make it so complex, but how can I really practically change? And so I can have a transformation in my life in maybe one particular area. I really want to transform in this area. Okay. For me, if I'm coaching somebody or teaching somebody, I'm going to say, let's start with finding out some of the things that you're thinking about and you're believing about yourself that's producing your current result. So whether it's weight loss, it's fitness, it's anything. And I can give you some examples even in my own life with physical fitness, where I had to transform my thought, and it then took me in, so I was able to then achieve the goal that I wanted. Right. Yeah.
And you've done all this even during the pandemic.
I did. Well, yeah. I have to say I am happy and pleased with my past self. That sometimes I like to look at my past self, my present self, and my future self, Right. And so I'm appreciative to my past self that she, Amy in my past, made some really good decisions even in the midst of pandemic. So I can really say, Daryl, I think I am in the best shape of my life. Maybe not my high school days, because, when you're a teenager and I was playing basketball and volleyball and, all the sports. So I was probably in my very best shape then. But in my adult years, beyond high school, I actually think I'm probably in the best shape of my life. But I'm not going to tell you my age, but it's a secret. But because I have issues. I guess I need coaching on that. But I'm probably most people guess me younger than I am, so thank God for that. But my point in that is that, as we age, and especially women, but men too, it gets harder. If you don't put the time and effort in, it actually gets harder to lose weight and to be fit. So,
Yeah.
even at like my age, my mature age, and in the midst of a pandemic, I really believe I am in the best shape of my life. And it happened, now it would be about 2 years ago, right? So right before pandemic started, I really made that like New Year's goal. I want to be in the best shape of my life. And I'd already lost some weight previous to that. I had, for me, the ketogenic diet really works where I'm not promoting it necessarily for others. I'm just saying for me, it really works because a healthy keto where I have very minimal carbs and then I eat healthy fats and healthy proteins. I had already slimmed down, and I actually have a story on that for getting in the best shape of my life. And so I wanted to go to the next step of like physical fitness. And thank God I was able to find a gym near me that I liked, and I won't go into all the detail, but long story short, they had a special running, and I'm in the Philippines, so for our viewers. So it's also like I was also able to get a much better price in terms of having my own trainer, to train me. So I tried it out for a month, and I kept him because what I found, and this I believe is really important for people in terms of coaching and being a part of a community and having accountability, having a fitness coach who really focused on me and on my transformation helped me so much. And so as we went into pandemic, I didn't just say, I'm just going to eat my troubles away, and I'm forget it, and I'm just going to stay in bed. I stayed working out, and we figured out a way to do it. And I worked out pretty much 5 days a week with him on Zoom, even though we're in the same city, Wow. So I have a trainer. I got my own weights that are just, I can, take like their travel weights, so I can put them all into place, and I can make them. I have a little thing. So whether I'm here or if I'm traveling, I found a way, and I kept working out and do it on Zoom, and it's fabulous. So that's how I was. But I had to change mindset. I had to work through challenges, and I had to, when there was, there's all those decisions along the way. But I really believe it comes back to mindset, because mindset then leads to your actions.
Right.
Yeah.
Because so many people who've been stuck in COVID, which we all have, depression's been a big thing.
Yeah.
And people don't always see the options that are in front of them because they kind of get tunnel vision.
True. Yeah.
And what I like about future self, or thinking about your relationship with self, is what do I have to do today to sacrifice a little bit so that my future self will benefit?
Exactly. Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. So I'm sure there were days that you were like, oh man, lockdown is terrible. I don't like this. I mean, what did you do in your mind to battle that kind of, those feelings and, whatever, to realize I need to do this because otherwise my future self will suffer?
Yeah, that's really good.
What did that look like?
As you asked me that question, I'm kind of going back to I really did have a specific moment in the middle of lockdown. This was in general, probably not just with fitness, but overall. And like you're saying, just that, I don't know. I mean, I know in different countries it was different things, but here we were really locked down in our houses, and we couldn't leave without a special pass for food and medicine. So when we say lockdown, we're truly locked down for months. And I remember my mind just started to go, I am so tired of being here. I need something else. Like my mind just was going down this road of like, I wish I could remember exactly the thoughts, but they were not helping me at all. And you know how you think and you just start feeling, you just go with the feeling. Like you don't, all of a sudden I just said, stop. Wait a minute. I have a choice here. I can either choose to focus right now on what I don't have, because it was all about what I didn't have, or I can focus on what I do have. And I just remember this moment. It was a crossover moment for me, crossroads. And I said, you know what? Look around. You have walls around you. You have shelter. You're, not out in the rain or the heat or the sun. You have food, you have water, and you have air, and you have God. In this very moment, I actually have everything I need, like, to survive. If we're just looking at survival, which when I focused on that, I became thankful. Wow, Because in this case, I switched my focus from what I didn't have to what I did have. And I had to do that because there's times, of course, we have to think and we have to plan for the things that we don't have, they're lacking in our life. But another teaching I like to teach from is let's not create from lack. In other words, I don't have this, therefore I need to create this. No, instead, let's always create from abundance. It doesn't mean we have abundance around us, but the truth is we have abundance in us. And if we pull on that abundance to create more externally, then we're doing it from an empowered point of view. And so I had to really change my mindset in that case and tell myself I have everything that I need right in this moment, and I will create more for the future. So that was one breakthrough for me. And then another thing, in terms of actual like physical fitness and your question regarding like past self, present self, and future self, this is a little trick I use for myself quite a bit, and hopefully our viewers can use this as well. I might be in the middle of a workout and hating it. Like I don't want to lift the weight again. My body's in pain, and I just
been there, done that.
My present self just wants to quit. So I'll ask my future self, and who's my future self? It's me in 30 minutes after the workout. And so I'll just, in my mind's eye, say, future self, what do you want me to do? And I listen to her, and she says, keep going, because I'm going to appreciate you for continuing the workout another 30 minutes. So even future self is not me a year from now necessarily. I mean, that's a good practice to do too, but I like to just ask myself in 30 minutes or an hour, okay, Amy, future self, what do you want present self to do? It sounds kind of weird, but it works for me to ask. And so then I can keep pushing. And then when I get, 30 minutes and I've finished that workout, I'm so happy. And then I congratulate myself and celebrate myself.
I think that's awesome, because when I thought of future self, I was thinking like, okay, I'm almost 400 pounds. I want to get to my goal weight, which is, 200 pounds lighter.
Right.
That is a very, very far future self.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's so far off that
it's too far. Yeah.
It's too far.
Yeah.
So saying my 30-minute future self is really cool, because then I can think, okay, if I eat these chocolates now, or if I do this or this or this, how's my future self in 30 minutes going to react? Well, number one, I'm going to have anxiety. I'm going to feel like I lost it. I let everybody down. I let myself down. All of those feelings. Well, my future self doesn't really want those feelings.
No, not at all, right?
Because my future self in 30 minutes is still going to be a little bit sore and
exactly
right, having just finished the workout,
or
whatever it is. It doesn't have to be future self in relation to working out.
For anything, it works for anything.
Anything,
yeah, it really does.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I love this. I'm using this often. Like, what is my future? And like I said, and what we've just discussed, future self just mean it could be me later on today. It could be me tomorrow or me next week. And it's a great way to sort of, because it's all still us, and it comes down to how am I relating to myself? How am I treating my present day self? How am I treating my future? And actually, I just want to bring this up, because this actually happened to me was it yesterday or the day before? How I even treat my past self, because we're doing media and all kinds of stuff, and I see my pictures from a couple years ago now, and I started going, I hate those pictures, and I don't I was starting to not hate on myself, but dislike my little bit chubbier face, and not as fit as I am now. And I was starting to on my past self. And then I thought, I really feel it was the Lord was like, Amy, stop that. Don't don't do that to your past self. Thank your past self that she made the decisions to get you to where you are today, and celebrate her. She worked hard, and she was actually doing her best. It's still me, right? It sounds like it's another person, but but this is a really good practice for us to treat ourselves nice. We so often have thoughts and feelings toward ourselves that we would actually never say to somebody else, but we say it to ourselves. So that was even a little thing that just came up for me these last few days, looking at past pictures, and I thought, no, instead of saying, I look so horrible back then, I'm saying, no, thank you. Yes, you look better now, but you're the one that made the decisions that I can look better today. So thank you, and I celebrate you, and you did your best at that time. It makes my present, I feel better about myself overall, and it empowers me to keep making changes so that, I'm not using an energy of negativity to have action in my life. And so often, I want to mention this too, because a lot of times people get try to go down a fitness path, especially in health and fitness, because they hate their current body. Like, I hate myself, so I'm going to go to the gym. I hate what I look like. I hate that. You know what I mean? So there's this sort of an energy of it's negativity, and it can drive us, right? It can drive us to make change. However, the better way to be empowered is not to draw from negative energy, but to draw from positive energy. So in other words, I love myself so much, I'm going to start eating healthy. I love myself so much that I am going to choose to have physical fitness. And I do it from a basis of loving myself, not hating myself. No matter what we look like, no matter the shape we're in, love is much, 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 much more powerful. And so that's what I promote to people, and especially in this journey, it's so easy for us to hate ourselves, and especially for women. I don't know, you can speak about for men, but so many, women, there's like this sometimes internal, we're just so hard on ourselves and hating some part of ourselves. No, let's choose to at least like, if we can't love, and if we can, do everything from a basis of loving ourselves, and it will actually give us a lot more energy and hope in being on this journey.
I really like that you brought that up, because in my mind, I think, my future self, is that somebody that I want to be in terms of I'm shedding my old self and becoming something different? I don't think so.
No.
I think we all have some really great things in us.
We do.
That sometimes we minimalize or don't appreciate.
Yep.
And so, there's things that we all don't like. I mean, I was talking to one of our speakers about body image, right? And my thoughts were, hey, I'm 400 pounds. If I can get down to 200, wow, I'll have a different body image.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I'm skinnier, and some lady says, oh, you look great, but man, your ears are big.
Oh, man.
I know I've said this several times in the summit, but it's like I discovered at that point that I still have a body image problem, even though I'm thinner.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily go away. I really like your thought of it's about reframing how we think about ourselves, looking at the positive parts of ourselves, and then moving forward from that.
Yeah, and Daryl, even I want to say this: even if we can love the parts that we dislike, that's the biggest challenge.
Right.
Because it's easy to love the parts that are looking good, but what about the parts that aren't? And still to this day, I have to keep practicing that with certain parts of, if we're talking physical body. But, to all of our viewers, you can take these principles and apply it really to any area of life. But since we're focusing on this, physical fitness is a great way to learn these skills and then apply anywhere. But, to choose to say, you know what, this, it's choosing to focus on what does work, what we do have, loving it. And even places like in our life or heart or emotions, let's say we have emotional pain or challenges we've gone through, if we're talking about now in the emotional realm, because I love to work with people in terms of their emotional health and empowerment, because it all fits together. But it's those sort of areas that we if we can put love into those areas, instead, love is what brings transformation. And it's worthy to note this, that love doesn't mean we stay in the same, because some people hear this and they think loving themselves just means we let ourselves, I'm just going to love myself and I'm going to let myself just stay as is. You know what I mean? It's like what's the word? Like indulgence. I'm just going to do whatever. It's like selfish. I just love myself and I'm just going to indulge. I'm just going to be what. No, that's not the kind of love I'm talking about. I'm talking about the kind of love where we love ourselves for change and growth and empowerment. So if there's an area that's in pain, there's an area that's not working, there's an area that's really, does need transformation, or there's, again, especially with emotional pain and hurts, we're going to love that area for transformation, not just to stay wallowing in our pain or in our, even in places where we're not physically fit. It's important that we steward our body. So we're not going to just love ourselves. I'm just going to stay as I just love myself as is. No, there's places of change, but let's change ourselves from love, not from hate. So that's a big, I think it's very, very important that, especially as coaches and teachers, we really help people walk down that. But if it's this kind of love and loving ourselves in this way, it's actually going to empower us to make the changes that we want.
Yeah, that is so good. Because not everybody's ready to make that decision to go, okay, I'm going to lose 30 pounds and I'm going to exercise it all off. No, I think we need to start more simple
Yeah.
and start working with inside ourselves so that it will transform and come out on the outside, if that makes sense.
Totally. Let me give our viewers something practical, like a next step, because I think everyone loves a next step, right? Because we're talking big, like how do I love myself and transform? One thing I have my clients do in my coaching course and in courses, and it's actually in the Relationship with Self course, which we're going to talk about too. If viewers want to actually go through a course that I have put together to help you transform and really look at how you relate to your past, present, and future self, then we have that, and we're going to offer that to you. But one starting point is to do what's called a thought download. Okay? And you just get a piece of paper or your journal, and let's just take physical fitness, take one area of your life. Again, it could be applied to others. And let's just take your body, how you think about your body. Just write every thought that comes to you about what you think. Write it down. Don't judge it. Don't try to change it. All you're trying to be is a watcher and observer of your own thoughts. Because when we can pull them out, dig them out, do a thought download onto a piece of paper, get them out, we think so many things, Then later we can go back and start to look at, hey, this one, I really think that about myself, and how am I going to transform this? But I have to warn you though, when you do it, sometimes you're it can be a little bit depressing to see all the thoughts that you think. However, it's a really good first step to start getting, because if it's in there, it's in the programming, let's get it out so we can actually analyze, look, and decide. We have the ability to decide on our thinking, and this is what we kind of know that, but we don't. It really takes practice to find the thought and then to change the thought. So that's a starting point for people, is do a thought download. What am I currently thinking? You're going to find some good ones. You're going to find some neutral, and you're going to find some negative. I like to put it into two categories: empowering and disempowering. And of course, the disempowering thoughts are the ones that we want to then begin to transform into something that is more empowering. And that gives us first steps. For example, excuse me one second here. I find myself at times, I don't know why, I'm still working on this, but every once in a while something will come up and I tell myself, you're such an idiot. And somehow that's in my programming and it just naturally comes in. If I don't catch myself, I just tell myself that and just keep going on in my day. I'm getting better at stopping. Why would I tell myself I'm an idiot? I wouldn't say that to you, Daryl. I wouldn't say it to my team. I mean, unless I was really ticked off at somebody, I might say that. But it's only if I was so ticked off. So why am I saying that to myself? Why? I should tell myself something that's more empowering. Okay, you don't know this yet, that you didn't do that well enough, but I believe in you. You can change this. It's so much better than you're an idiot. And so my point is, we got to find the thought. We got to know what we're thinking, because so much of it's like a glass ceiling type of in our life. It's a ceiling, it's a limitation, but it's glass because we don't see it. So a thought download is a great starting point for finding out what's actually going on with those 60,000 thoughts that are going through our mind and our heart each day.
Wow, that's quite an exercise.
Yeah.
These are like the first thoughts that come to your head, not I'm going to analyze this and get stuck on number 3. You just start firing out thoughts.
Just get it down.
Look at them later.
Yeah. The key the key is not to judge them at that moment, not to try to analyze them or even change them. It's just simply to get them out from here and here on paper so that later you can analyze. And that's why I also suggest with a coach that understands this sort of thing. So, because it can help you really then take it step by. You can do it on your own, of course, but with a coach, it just helps you. Somebody that's there, that believes in you and is helping you choose a few. And how are we actually going to transform this? It's really a powerful practice, and a lifetime practice.
Yeah, it's a never-ending thing for sure. So how do people begin to change their mindset?
Well, I think there's some things that we can just make a decision on. So once we recognize what we're thinking, there can be real freedom in just realizing, wow, I think that. And it's like a choice. We have willpower. There are times it's just easy enough to say, once we see it, we can change it. And we can truly change it. It's like really changed. And we know it's changed because then it's like the feeling is there, the thought it's active. It's not one we're still trying to believe. If we're still trying to believe it, then we're still in the journey, right? Because there's going to be some of those things that's going to take a while to change. So I'll give another example how I changed a thought going back to my ketogenic diet when I was wanting to lose weight. So when I was in one spot, like not traveling, because before pandemic, I was traveling like all the time. So there was a time I was in, one location. And so I was able to choose my meals. I was able to choose the food, and I was losing the weight. But then I had to travel. And so in my mind, subconscious, like not conscious, but conscious, I believed I can't do this when I travel because it's too hard to choose the food when I'm traveling, right?
Right.
So I believed my thinking. I believed it to be true because that's what I thought, right? We all think our thoughts are the truth. They're not necessarily.
Yeah.
Every thought can be transformed, and not every thought is actually true. It's our truth at the moment because we believe it, but we can change it. So exactly that happened. Now, again, remember, I don't have any concept that this is going on yet because I'm just going with my programming. So when I travel, I can't eat. I'm not eating keto. Why? Because I'm believing I can't. And then I, put a little bit of weight on. I'm not eating the keto. Finally, after a time period, I realized it's like I used this. I don't know if I did a thought download at that point, but I'm using my coaching and I'm using my own, transformation. And all of a sudden I realized, okay, I'm believing I can't do this when I travel. That's my disempowering thought. It's my limiter.
Right.
So by seeing that I believed it, that was my light bulb moment, knowing that I believed it, because previous I didn't even know I was believing it. When I knew that, then I was able to make the decision, say, nope, so I changed my thought from I can't do this when I travel to it might be more challenging, but I can do this. And sure enough, when I changed my thought, I then changed my action when I traveled. And to this day now, it's become a lifestyle because I believe I can do it. So that's a sample of a simple mind transformation, and it changed the results in my life. Now there's others. It goes a bit deeper and it takes more. And I don't think we have time in this interview. But if I was coaching,
we're getting close to the end of our session now. But I'm glad you brought that up because I had the exact same experience. Because we traveled a lot before the pandemic. Yep. And there was a point in time when we were trying specific types of diets, like, shakes and different things where you had to order product. And that made it very difficult to travel and continue to do. So it wasn't sustainable. Yeah. But like what you were doing, which was keto, or people who are doing intermittent fasting, or basically eating from all the 7 food groups, doesn't matter if you're traveling or not. It's just a decision and a mindset change.
Yeah. You find a way. Yeah, you find a way.
You find a way.
When you have the right mindset.
Exactly. Exactly. True. Yeah. Just before we go, I want to just explore real quickly here in terms of, you said earlier, hey, we could do this on our own. And yes, you could, right? I mean, YouTube is amazing. You can find anything you want on Google and YouTube. But it might take you a very, very long time. Yeah. And so I feel personally, and I kind of want to hear from you, how important it is to align yourself with people like coaches who can help you get to that next level. Well, to me, now it's my highest priority to do this practice it in my own life, because of course we like you just mentioned, we can do it on our own, but normally most of us don't have the full discipline. Plus we have blind spots, right? We can't see everything. So when I'll just go back, to make it simple, I'll go back to my fitness coach. So when I have a fitness coach that's right there and giving me my workout, looking at like every angle that I'm, making my squat in, and adjust this, so I can get maximum benefit from the same workout, right? Because it might be just minor adjustments, but I get a much more benefit to that muscle group because I changed my position just a little bit. He can see it from something I can't see it. Right. So that's one thing for a coach. That's true in especially our emotional health and our thinking. How much better to have somebody that's right there with us, not judging us, but believing in us. That's what a coach does. Believes in you to help you pull out your best. They're not there to judge you. Oh, you're wrong here. You shouldn't do that. Why are you thinking that? No, they're there to say, oh, let's find it, transform it. I believe in you. I see your potential. That's exactly what a coach is, right? And then the second thing, with my fitness coach, I find that I do double the workout when he's with me than if I'm on my own,
right? Because at that mark when I want to quit, even if I ask my future self, but sometimes, if I have that coach that's like, come on, you can do another set, just one more set, I'll do it. Yeah. Why? Because he's just pushing me just beyond. And so that's very true. And I think the most important in our life, number one, is from my perspective, our spiritual life, our relationship with God. Second, our emotional and our thinking, right? And then third, our physical fitness. So if we can take that aspect and have accountability, and accountability just meaning I like to say this for accountability, to give an account for our abilities. Because sometimes we say the word accountability and it sounds like negative. Oh, I have accountability from some. No, you have an ability, you have a potential. So let's give an account for the potential and ability that's in me to fully maximize it to the greatest efficiency. And that's what a coach, that's what a community like this can do. That's people, even friends around us that are like, helping us and encouraging us in that right direction. So yes, long answer to say, absolutely important, the input that's going into us from the people that are around us, for sure.
Exactly. And that's the whole reason why I'm hosting this Transformation Summit, is because, hey, I'm 60 now, and it took me a long time to realize where I needed to get. Where if we can have people around us, a support system, I really believe we can get there faster.
Absolutely. And we should all learn from others that have, there's always going to be people in life that have kind of done the road of hard knocks to learn something. And then they give it to us crystallized and ready to go. But then we can do that for the next generation or the people around it. The things that we're learning, we can give. So it's kind of like we all grow a lot faster if we're smart. And I like to quote this, and it comes from Jim Rohn. I don't know if you know who that is, but he's one of the personal development teachers, like Tony Robbins looks up to him. He's passed away now, but from years ago, Jim Rohn. And when I was young, I was able to be in some of his teachings, and he really impacted my life. And one thing he would always say is always remain a student. So no matter how far you've progressed in life, always remain a student. In other words, you're looking for somebody that's gone farther, learned something that you can pick up on, and you can always be incorporating that into your life. And if we maintain that mindset, we can keep growing faster, and then we can give what we've learned to the people around us that are still on a similar path. So it's important. Exactly. Yeah, it's great. It's a great thing to do.
Amy, this has been wonderful spending this time with you, and thank you so much for watching. Now, you can get in touch with Amy. How can they get in touch with you? What's the best way?
Okay, well, maybe our Facebook site in general. I lead an organization, as you mentioned, called Global Impact. So we do the anti-human trafficking work. We do a lot of things. So that is a great way, and hopefully we can show the link because it's facebook.com/myglobal. That's our Global Impact. I think there's some other global impacts out there, so find ours. And a second way would be if you're interested in the course Relationship with Self, then you can also find us there, and we'll be giving you the access to that.
Yeah, so we'll have a special link for that.
So those were the two ways to get in touch with us.
Awesome. So we will provide that for everyone. Now, anyone that's attending the live summit, Amy is going to give one of you, a special gift. And what is that, Amy?
That's access to the Relationship with Self course. And that's exciting. We do have a value on that of $179, to have access to the course. And it's set up in modules. It's self-study, and there's videos there. There's a workbook where you can, print that out or of course just do it digitally, but it gives you something to do each day, like even if it's just you decide how much time you want to spend, but helping you find your thoughts, transform them, just a lot of things that we talked about, but helping you walk through it step by step. So that's what's in the course.
Awesome. Thanks again, Amy, and thank you everyone for watching, and until next time, be blessed.